On live? All right.
Yeah. Okay, we're on live now.
All right. I want to share the live. Okay. In your Facebook, right?
Yeah, it's on my Facebook.
I didn't see it appear in your Facebook.
Is it? Wait, let me check. It's on live though, since no. Yeah, can see. It's on live. Dr. Indigo, we can just start whenever we want to start, right?
Yes, and as you start, share with the audience things like you, share, things like that, and so that they can be engaged throughout the session.
Right. Let me just pin my comment first because I don't see any viewers for now.
Sometimes viewers are there without you knowing.
True, that's true. Yeah, let me just pin my comment first. Where's Yvonne?
Your live in your Facebook.
I can see my own life.
Okay. Did you make it public?
Yeah. My whole profile is public already.
How come I can't see you? I cannot see the live. Watch.
Okay. Can you find the thing?
No, I can't find.
But I can see my own one.
I cannot see on your wall. Can Dr. Indigo see?
No, I'm online trying to find us, but as long as you're live, people can be in there waiting for you to speak.
Oh. I
can't
wait, wait, I think I didn't make it live first. Wait. Public. Yeah, and I did it.
Oh, now only I saw, yes. All right. I see already. Oh, finally.
ขับมาก่อนที่จะชะลอแต่ว่า
What's that?
ครับอายุ92
Okay, cool.
What is that? Is there a Cantonese?
No, I didn't on anything. So yeah, I think we can start already. It's already public.
All
It's
right.
already live and public.
Okay.
Okay, so
Hi,
all right, there's
everyone.
people coming in already. Hi, people. Hope you all had your late lunch already, and thank
Yeah.
you for tuning in. All right.
What about you
Thank
guys?
you so much for tuning in. I just had my quick lunch. Dr. Indigo,
All right.
Yes.
have you had your lunch?
Yes, I had my smoothie. That's what I do for lunch.
Right. So, okay, maybe we will start first. Is that okay?
Yes, because people
All
are
right.
sending me messages that they're listening.
Right. So, really thankful. Thank you all for tuning in. And today we have a very interesting topic. It's touching on mental wellness and also touching on financial fitness as well, where I have both amazing two individuals here with me. Dr. Indigo, who is expert in the mental wellness, and Yvonne is from the financial industry, both very different industry, but expert in their own industry. So let me give a brief introduction on Dr. Indigo, right? So Dr. Indigo is a mental health expert. She is a successful leader, author, and speaker herself. She has taught psychology in courses at university level. And she also written a book on mental health, and the book name is called Dwelling Dragons. So if you guys want to know about this book, you can go and search for Dwelling Dragons. And this book is actually purchased by medical facilities. So, and she also
Wow.
wrote a weekly mental health column article, especially for leaders and business owners. I wonder why. All right.
Wow.
And the Inc. magazine, which is in the America, and she coaches from a mind, body, spirit connection based on her life experience. And she has remarkably achieved. Her company was recognized as one of the top 500 America fastest growing company by Inc. magazine. So I am very honored, Dr. Indigo, to have you with us to share with us an insight. And I'm going to share on Yvonne too, okay? So Yvonne is one of the brightest star in the wealth planning and financial industry. In fact, she's actually one of the brightest person I've met. Yeah, she successfully impacted 1,300 lives by advocating financial fitness, and she achieved 5 years of consecutive MDRT, and amazingly she was the top 2 in the whole entire Prudential Malaysia. Yeah, so I am very honored to have both of you two. And one thing about Yvonne is I feel very energetic, and I feel always very inspired when I'm around her. So without further ado, I will leave this time to both of you, to Dr. Indigo, to enlighten us on the mental health.
Wonderful. Hello, everyone. As we bring up the slides, let me just share with you. Are the slides coming up?
Yep.
Let me just share with you that I'm wearing green, and many of you probably recognize green during the times where we have Mental Health Week and Mental Health Day. But after that, we really don't think much about it. And mental health is something that we all have. It is not something that we celebrate on one day of the year. Mental health is very much like physical health. And we are talking about resilience, a sign of mental well-being. And I am waiting for my slides before I move on so that you'll be with me. Wonderful. Here they come. And so let me just share with you that when you think about, because you're probably wondering why finance and mental health, that's a weird combination, but not really. It's really like peanut butter and jelly. And the reason why is because if your mental health is strained, it impacts different parts of your life. For instance, if you're depressed, you are not going to do well at work. So you're not going to perform well. When you don't perform well, they may let you go. When they let you go, your finances are disrupted. When your finances are disrupted, now you really have some mental issues, because now you're anxious, you're depressed, you're sad, and all these other things. Now, what I want you to understand, though, is that with the coronavirus pandemic, it is natural for you to have all sorts of emotions, that you are going to run the spectrum. One day you can be fine, and the next day you can be completely blue or sad. But what we're going to be talking about is the resilient, how to remain resilient through this storm that we have encountered. And I am waiting for us to get the first slide. Do slideshow.
Well, I can see the slides now.
No, slideshow. You'll go to
Yep.
slideshow and then hit first slide. No, click on slideshow.
Yeah, it doesn't show. Wait. It doesn't show.
It will. Hit slideshow, and you want to go where it says enable editing. Hit enable editing.
Right. Just give me 1 second.
Okay.
Dr. Indigo, there are some in the comments saying that they can't really hear you. Perhaps you want to.
Okay. I will get closer and speak louder.
All right.
Yep.
Yeah, in fact, I agree.
am.
All right.
Great.
Oh, cool.
So, as you can see, we have a guy there with a sledgehammer. And the sledgehammer is representative of being able to break through walls, break through barriers. And what's happening very often with people right now is that if you are feeling depressed, sad, or anything, you have to be able to break through that. And that is the resilience that we're going to be talking about. The next slide, please. So here is what I think, this is what I know. You have 3 books there. The second book is Playing by the Unwritten Rules, From a Job Defense to a Career Offense. And the third book is Playing by the Unwritten Rules 3. Here's what I think, this is what I know. The reason why I'm sharing these is because many, many years ago when I wrote the second book, I had just like 2 pages where I talked about resilience. Because of that, I started getting calls from all types of organizations to come in and talk about resilience with only a couple of pages. And I found that very interesting. I started doing work and speaking to law enforcement, the military, CNN. And if you're sitting there, I want you to think about this. What would people who work at CNN have in common with people who've gone to battle? They would have mental health. Mental health impacts everyone. And when we start talking about things like PTSD, post-traumatic stress disorder, you don't have to go out on a battlefield to have that. Here I said at the very top, people will emerge differently from the global lockdown. People will literally come out of this thing with post-traumatic stress disorder because we have never gone through this as a country, as a world, as a community, as the human race. So some people are being impacted differently than others, but we're all being impacted. I remember a saying by Martin Luther King, one of America's most known civil rights leader. He said, we may have all come on different ships, but we are all in the same boat now. So all of us, no matter what your economic status was, your job title, your marriage title, all that, we're all equal now because we are all in this together. And the way we deal with it mentally is what's going to separate us from one another. Who's going to be able to survive this mentally and even use this as an opportunity to go to the next level? So the next bullet says, resiliency is an essential tool and skill for mental well-being. What people don't understand is that resiliency is something that we build along the way. Now, not to point fingers at anyone, but my generation, which is baby boomer, I'm the last of the baby boomers, and traditionalists are known to be much more resilient than your Gen X, your Gen Z, as well as millennials. And it's not because you all don't have fortitude. I have seen you all to have great courage, but you haven't been tested like some of our grandparents who've gone through World War I, World War II, Korean War, Vietnam, all these different tragedies. And so very often you've been shielded by that. And the thing about resilience is that it's like a muscle. You have to go through something, and think about it. And anybody out there, Google this and see how muscles are built or formed. The way the muscle works is that when you're lifting weights, right? When you lift weights, you're tearing these muscles. And for them to rebuild, it has scar tissue. When you lift weights again, it's tearing those, and now more scar tissue. So the muscle is getting bigger and bigger. Well, that's what resilience is like. We're going through a storm right now, but some of us, this is our first time, and we're dealing with it much more, having a much more difficult time with it than someone who's gone through something. For me, I've gone through something. And in fact, America had a government shutdown, and that was my primary client, where I had to literally twice pull money out of my retirement to make payroll. $70,000 within a month, two times. So that's 140,000 US dollars. I had to pull out of my personal account to cover all of my employees. Was that a storm? You bet. Yes. Then we had the anthrax scare in America, where they were, I don't know if you've heard of anthrax, but that's where it just kills you. There is no warning or anything of a powder. And so that was internal terrorism that was going on. And then we had 9/11. So those are three major country storms that many of us have developed an ability to be resilient. Then I had my own personal storm that those of you who know me, I talk about how I've been pushed out of America and pulled into Asia. So I've learned through lived experiences how to be resilient. But that is something all of us are going to have to do and be to weather the storm. So let me just give you some insight of what I know. One is mental illness will be the next pandemic, if not epidemic. Right now, it was already set to be the next pandemic, and then this came along, Corona. But mental illness is something that is being studied in terms of how it's impacting people globally. Here's a stat I want you to think about for those of you who believe in proof and like proof. Close to 800,000 people die to suicide every year. That is every 40 seconds, someone commits suicide. That's an epidemic. Could you imagine if someone put on the news right now, every 40 seconds, someone is dying of Corona? Wow. That would be huge.
Right.
So, and that's according to the World Health Organization. Every 40 seconds, somebody dies from suicide. Malaysian Psychiatric Association said back in 2017, 29%, let's roll it up to the nearest number, 30% of Malaysians have depression or anxiety disorder through mental illness. Not just sadness, mental illness. So they predicted that in 2020, that would almost double. We're on track for a doubling because of coronavirus. We cannot get around this. We cannot tiptoe around this occurrence. And then everyone has mental health. The way you deal with it to be resilient is to understand that it's fluid. Meaning, right now, Yvonne and Sabrina could be happy. Oh, they're like, yeah, we're gonna do our thing today. We're gonna have drinks when we get done. I'm all over this. But in the middle of the night, somebody can get a phone call that's very distressful. Like I can get a phone call that something happened to one of my sons, right? That will take me from feeling wonderful, slide me all the way down to being depressed. Keep in mind, mental health is not about those people. It's about all of us and how we deal with it. Mm-hmm. The next slide, please.
Interesting.
So, by a nod of hands, who here has seen this picture of Muhammad Ali almost knocked out? How many have seen this? Most people don't see this picture. We usually see Muhammad Ali standing over other people who are trying to get up. So what made Muhammad Ali the greatest of all time? And he said that before he was even the greatest, he said. What made him the greatest of all time is that when he got knocked down, he got back up. That's resilience. Resilience is the process of adapting well in the face of adversity, trauma, threats, significant sources of stress, such as relationships. There are people right now who, when they went in to the global lockdown, they were married. When they come out, they may not be married. So that is stressful. And so when we talk about financial stressors, that is one of the most major stressful thing in our life is managing our finance, making sure we're whole and well with our finances. And because of the coronavirus, everyone's finance has been disrupted in some way. Even millionaires are losing millions. So trust me, this is not just about those people over there who have mental health problems or are loopy or crazy or whatever we call people who talk about their mental health. It's all of us. So it's about bouncing back. The next slide, please. It's about bouncing back from storms. Now, the whole premise of today is about weathering your storm. Yvonne is going to talk about managing your finance, which is one way of weathering your storm. But let me share with you, there are three places we are in a storm or dealing with a storm in our life, in our career, and so forth. One is either we're going into a storm, two, you are in a storm, or three, you're coming out of a storm. And a storm is any disruption to an environment. So right now, we don't know where we are in terms of the pandemic storm. Some of us will say, oh, we're going into a storm. Well, see, I'm in Malaysia. They said that almost a month ago, and we're still on lockdown. So does that mean we're going into the storm? Are they saying, no, we're in the storm and we're coming out? Or does it mean we're already coming out? We don't know, and that's uncertainty, and uncertainty causes stress. So you have to learn how to weather the storm because you don't know how long it will be. It could be anywhere from the next week all the way to another year or so. Some countries are talking about not even opening their doors until they have a vaccine, and vaccines take months to years. So it's important to understand that we have to weather the storm. So let's talk about, I'm on the next page, Sabrina, I'm sorry. So let's talk about the perfect storm. A perfect storm is a movie that many people saw many years ago, but I Googled it, and a perfect storm is a true meteorological incident. It's when several storms come together and form a perfect storm. For instance, a perfect storm can easily be coronavirus, losing your job, having failing health, child sick, losing your job, having your hours cut. So maybe not losing your job, but less money. I have a girlfriend right now over in Singapore, and she has to find another place to live because the landlord sold her property that she's renting. And I said, well, why can't you stay there? Because the new owners want to move in. So she has to leave. Would that be a storm? You bet. Because it's hard to look for an apartment or a condo when you're on lockdown. So perfect storms come in, and right now, many of us are in a perfect storm. And the storm I want you to focus on today, you all, and really listen to what Yvonne has to say and what I have to say, is that we have the coronavirus, global pandemic, that's a storm, and our finances are being disrupted. That is the perfect storm that will toss you about and make you even doubt whether you'll survive it. But I submit to you, you will survive it. You just have to be resilient. So the next slide, please. So let's talk about moving through storms. I listed 4 ways, and I want you to really take a close look at this picture. I love this picture. The picture is these people are getting off work. Now, we can make this work, make it coming out of your home after the pandemic. It could be anything you want it to be. It could be coming out of your in-laws' house. but that's my personal story. I'm no longer married, so I don't have to go to my in-laws' house. But if I was, I may be putting on these hangers that basically makes it look like you're happy. But these people are not happy. And many people are walking around acting as if everything is okay when inside a storm is brewing. So how do you move through the storm? One is embrace mental health. When you realize and recognize that you have a spectrum and where you are on that spectrum, that would help you to move through it. You cannot really move through it until you become honest with yourself. That if we have a spectrum, let's say one is you're completely happy, you're blissful, everything is going your way. You can't even imagine it getting any better than today. Then over here is you're completely depressed. As a matter of fact, you don't even want to get out of bed. You are so depressed. On that spectrum, 1 through 10, where would you be? Are you in the middle? Are you more over, I'm very, very happy? Or are you over here where you're just trying to keep it together? You are really, dealing and struggling with some things. When you're able to deal with that and know that, then you can make some things happen. Let me just share with you, for my friends who are over in Singapore watching, Singapore was known to have the highest amount of sadness when we talk about in Asia, South Asia. Now, when I say sadness, they were not talking about people. Overall, it is one of the happiest places to live, but for workers, it's one of the saddest. Malaysia, you're not that far behind, so you can't go, point your fingers at them, because you all also have a high degree of sadness. But what they have determined is that you're more in the middle. Now you may think, oh, we're in the middle. That's not so bad, but it's not good. The middle is only good when you're talking about sleeping in a bed that has the nice middle comfy, part, or the part of the melon that's in the middle. Or for us Americans, the middle of the pizza is the best. Or the dance floor. If you can't dance, go in the middle where nobody can see you. But when it talks about your mental health, being in the middle is not good. It just means you're like this. Nothing really happens when you're like this. We really need you to be over here. So first, recognize to embrace your mental health. Then know that time is relative. I think people do each other disservice when they say, girl, get over that. How long has it been since you got a divorce? 2 years? Oh, girl, get over him. No, disappointments and time is relative. No one can tell you how long it takes. Sabrina, it may take her longer to bounce back, while Yvonne, she may bounce back like that. But yet it's about the ability to bounce back and not the speed. So don't beat up on yourself if you're finding that you're sad longer than what you like to be, because it's natural. It's only when you start becoming depressed and you can't get out of it that you need to call someone like me to have some time with me to talk about these feelings and how to move through them. So the next thing is become aware. Become aware of yourself. There are 3 things you need to do when we talk about becoming aware. One is self-awareness, understanding who you are and why you do what you do. Then self-knowledge is knowing what it is that you do, why you do it, and what triggers you to do that. So if you're feeling sad right now, you need to figure out why. What's really going on? Have you ever had a conversation with someone and you snapped at them and they're like, what's wrong with you? And you're like, oh, I don't know. That's from a lack of being self-aware. You have to become aware of why you do what you do, why you feel the way you feel, and then you can start minimizing those feelings and even removing those feelings. And then ask for help. It is so important. I do know in Asia, they do not like talking about their mental status. No matter how depressed they are, they will keep it inside, which is why their numbers are going up when it comes to mental distress, because they don't have an outlet. They don't talk to people. And there are too many people for the counselors and psychologists and psychiatrists that are available. We don't have enough of those people. People don't tend to go to school as much for that as they do for being a surgeon or gynecologist or all those other types of doctors. So we have a deficit in terms of people available to coach, counsel, and give therapy. But you have to seek out help. And let me share this with you. When you seek out help, you all, make sure they are qualified. I have people popping up all the time saying, oh, I can help you have more, prosperity and feel good and be happy and joyful. And no, they can't. Where did they learn to do that? Did they go to school for that? Just because somebody lost their job and decided to become a consultant does not make them a consultant. That's just me saying that to you, that do not make the mistake of going to people who think that they know what they're doing. Mental health is not like making a pizza or any fast food. It's not. It's very complicated and complex because we're talking about the mind. So make sure you check people's credentials if you are going to start seeing someone. So next slide, please. Is this stuff making sense?
Yes.
Good.
Makes sense.
So it says here, maintaining mental well-being. I told you why you need to do it and how it looks. Let me give you a couple of tips because I only have 20 minutes. So sometimes you have to just pick yourself up. You see the little orange there. He's just trying to carry on and he's been shredded. Some of us are feeling totally shredded after going through the things that we're going through with this virus. But you got to pick yourself up. And this is how you do it. One is to harness that inner strength, you all. Everyone deep down, you have strength. You have inner strength. You got to call on it right now. You have to spend time with yourself, really pepping yourself up, getting yourself ready, spending time doing not negative, positive self-talk. A lot of people right now are doing a lot of negative self-talk, beating up on themselves because you're by yourself. And because you're by yourself, you are beating up on yourself. You're bullying yourself. Stop bullying yourself and be your best friend. Say good things to yourself so that you can become more resilient. And then practice core competencies of stress management. Resilience is about how stress comes to you. So there are ways that you can manage stress by doing things that help you move through stress. And then distinguish facts from perception. A lot of times people do not pay attention that they're making things bigger than what it is, but really focus on what is fact, what is reality. And you do that, one, by stop accepting all these WhatsApp cartoons and messages and all this Facebook crap where people are telling you it's doomsday. Stop listening to that stuff. Listen to more positive things. And if people send you stuff and you look it up and you realize it's not true, call them on it. We got to stop allowing ourselves to be bombarded with negative stuff that's not even true. So understand perception from reality and facts. What is the truth here? And then remove barriers and obstacles. What is preventing you from even living your best life right now? People have said to me, wow, how do you do it, Indigo? You always seem up. You always seem happy. For 2 weeks, I did live chats every day, new topic every day. The reason why is because, one, I've gone through stuff before. I almost said a curse word. You guys know the word. But I've gone through stuff before. And so I've learned that, you know what? This too shall pass. This will be okay. We'll be okay. We just got to figure out how to do some things differently. And Yvonne will share with you some things you can do about your finance so that you're not just being distressed over it. And then move from illness to wellness. If you start feeling illness, and that means depression, anger. Anger is an illness, you guys. Jealousy. Like, for instance, I know some people look at Facebook and things, LinkedIn. Like, I don't go to LinkedIn a lot because that is nothing but a brag platform. Oh, look how great I am. I'm so good. So I don't go there except to post how great I am. Then I leave because I do know human instinct is to start comparing yourself. Who doesn't compare themselves and say, wow, I could be doing that. Why aren't I doing that? Why is she so happy all the time and I'm not? Why don't I have a great life like that? Let me tell you something. The pictures that you see on these Facebooks and stuff like that, those are people who tried, selfie this way, selfie that way, put on makeup, and they did a lot of things to make it look like they're happy. But if you see the real life, they're like all the rest of us. So if you really want to stay in a good space and balance, limit how much you're watching other people's lives. Limit how much you're watching the news. When I watch the news, here's my juice that my son made for me. I do this. I sip on it. Meaning, many of you watch the news like it's a fire hydrant. You turn it on and that water's blasting, and you got your mouth over there and it's just blowing off your face. Stop watching the news as if it's going to be new. There is nothing new on the news. When's the last time you heard something new? You're not. So sip on it, tune into it, get a little bit of information that you need, turn it off, and get on about your life. So the next one is listen to your higher self. When you start having feelings and thoughts that are not productive or moving you in the direction of resilience, listen to your higher self. And what that means, right here, you all, right here, see this whole area. When you meet someone, do you notice that area has a feeling? It has a feeling like, ooh, don't trust him, or ooh, I like her, engage her a little more. That feeling is your higher self. It protects you. It knows what's right for you. Okay, so some of you don't know what I'm talking about. Let's say you're driving or you're walking and you don't know which way to go and you don't have Google Maps. So something will say, hey, turn right. And then you'll be like, I don't think so. I think I'm supposed to go left. So you turn left. 2 hours later, when you are lost, what does higher self say to you? Told you so. That is higher self. And it's never wrong. Listen to your gut instinct. If something is saying we have financial problems, then look into it. But if it's saying we're going to be all right, listen to it. Okay? That is paramount in being resilient. The next page, please. Are we frozen? Oh, she's frozen.
I think our moderator is frozen.
Katrina, if you hear me, could you go to the next slide?
Yeah.
Is your higher self saying, don't change my slide?
Dr. Indigo, oh my God. I like your example about the car, yeah.
It's true.
It is closely related to what our daily lives do, yeah.
I have one more slide, Sabrina.
Sorry, I got disconnected.
Oh, I have one more slide. Can you show that? Or, well, don't worry about it. I'll just talk. No worries.
Yep.
Okay. Yeah. My last slide, I want to share 4 points with you very quickly, things that you can do right now. First one, well, you can't do this one, but it's close. I have here a picture, a book. It's called My Journal, a Journal of Insight. Yep. This is the journal that I sell. Many people have bought this journal and they've been telling me how they write in it more now. I recommend, I'll keep it because it's like promo, right? So many of you, if you don't have a journal, just get pieces of paper and each day or when something significant or a feeling comes across you, write in that journal or write on the piece of paper. I don't recommend you typing it into a computer. And the reason why is because technology changes so fast that you may lose all those notes in, say, 10 years. You may want to go back and it's gone. The only thing that has lasted the test of time is writing. You can go to caves and see writings on walls. I have things from I have a son that's 36 and I used to put things in a book not a book. No, it wasn't that one. It's the middle son. I used to type in things like his first walk, his first whatever, right? All that stuff is gone because technology changed. But what doesn't leave is writing stuff. And let me tell you why you want to write a journal. A journal lets you capture what's going on in your life. For instance, I remember when I was married that whenever my oldest son would come and visit, I would be so happy, right? And I would write in my journal, oh, Russell came and visit me. I love him so much. I miss him when he's not around. And I, wash clothes and all that kind of stuff. And oh, by the way, I'm sleeping downstairs in the guest room. I can't stand Dave, who was my husband, right? Now we're divorced. I can't stand Dave. Well, I would look in the journal and I started noticing whenever Russell came, by the time he left, me and my husband were in arguments. And what was happening is that he was, playing both sides of us. And I would have never noticed that if I didn't go in my journal. So journals help you to identify patterns of behavior, things that are going on in your life that you need to pay attention to. The next one is meditate, visualize, do gratitude, do positive affirmations and things like that. If you want to become resilient, you have to really focus on your mind in doing things that are positive with your mind. I'm going to share something with you that I do every morning. Every morning I play a song over and over called Money is Coming to Me. It's on YouTube. I do not kid you, girl, because I believe in the power of energy. I believe that you can attract what you want by your thoughts. And so if I wake up in the morning and I start thinking about how this crap sucks, then guess what? My day's gonna suck. And everybody that comes in contact with me is gonna suck. But if I wake up in the morning, for those who are listening out there, Google it. Go to YouTube. Money is coming to me. And it's a very simplistic song. And all it is money is coming to me. Money is coming to me. And when I'm fixing my bed, I'm singing money is coming to me. And I just sing it all morning while I'm putting on my makeup. Money is coming to me. And that keeps me focused of what I'm getting versus what I don't have. If you focus on what you don't have, you're going to get more of it. Focus on what you want and what you have. Make sense?
Yep.
Last one, become radically authentic with yourself. If you want to be resilient, you got to be authentic. The way I look, a lot of people will say, you cut your hair, you don't have on the suit. You know what? Because I don't want to. This is me. This is what I like. This makes me feel comfortable. When you get comfortable in your own skin, that's when you will become more resilient because it'll be less about them and more about you. And let me tell you something. When you turn 50, you kind of just don't care anymore. When you get 40, ladies, let me tell you, 40s are the best. That's when you come in your own. If you're in your 30s, get ready because you're getting ready to have the time of your life when you hit your 40s and then when you hit your 50s. So with that, the last one is listen to your inner voice. I talked about that. And that concludes how to be resilient. I do classes on this. I also coach and work with people individually through Skype, since you can't come to my studio right now. But if you need additional help in any way, contact me. A sister would love to work with you.
Yeah, I will show the slides for how to contact with Dr. Indigo. Okay. This one.
Yes, and I will type in so that people can, I guess they can copy and paste if they want to email me.
Yes. Okay. So thank you so much for your very insightful sharing, Dr. Indigo. In fact, I am jotting down notes over here, even though you cannot see, because I learned quite a lot from you. So I think just give me a second coordinating this thing. Yeah, I like the way you talk about resilience as like a muscle where we actually it's something that is trained, and a lot of times I mean, Asian being Asian, you can hear me properly, right? Okay, so a lot of times Asian being Asian, they tend to put things inside themselves. They don't want to really express themselves, which I think recently the mental health awareness has been quite strong in Malaysia, and I hope that it will be getting stronger. I think this topic that you mentioned now is very timely for this season, because both stress and finance is something that most people are very concerned of. And I like the way you mentioned about journaling. I think it is a journey where we want to journal down how we progress so far, and focus on what we're going to focus. Don't just focus on negative news and all these things. So I really learned a lot from you, Dr. Indigo. And for Yvonne, yeah. Oh, it's mute. Wait. I help you to unmute first. Yeah.
Okay, now I think you guys can hear me now. Clear. All right. First of all, I want to welcome all our viewers here and guests, and they're all the way from Malaysia, Philippines, and even our CEO Prudential Malaysia CEO Mr. Gan is with us today. Wow. Really, thank you for everyone, and I really learned a lot from Dr. Indigo. I wish you guys the same as well. Yeah, in fact, what Dr. Indigo about to say is similar to what I'm saying. So I can have the slide here. So today I'm going to share about financial fitness. So there are actually 5 stages of financial planning in our life. So the very, very first stage is related to what Dr. Indigo has said. It's about self-awareness. So before we start any financial plans, it is important for you to know and to understand your current financial situations. So self-awareness is about understanding your own needs, lifestyle, risk habit, or everything else that makes you who you are today. So the more you know about yourself, the better you will be determining your financial changes that suits your needs. So some of my clients, they might ask me, oh, okay, I need to self-aware about my financial situation, but how do I go about it? So if that's the concern, not to worry, you just ask yourself these 5 questions to guide you through, okay? The first question is, ask yourself, what are your current assets and liabilities? So ask yourself some of the assets that you own currently. So asset in this case referring to properties, equities, bond, commodities, or even cash. And then relook again into your current liabilities that you might have. Liabilities here, we are referring to mortgage, some fixed expenditures, or even some subscription, or even membership that you have applied for. So having a good understanding of your assets and liabilities will allow you to know your current financial situations so that you know how to plan for your financial strategy later. So that will be your first question you need to ask. Then the second question you can ask is, do you have sufficient income or multiple income streams? So there's an old saying that don't put all the eggs into one basket, right? So this is so true for income as well. So ask yourself, do you have multiple income streams? If let's say today, the economy turns bad, which is, I think it's happening now, so one of your income stream might be affected, but at the very least, you still have other income stream as a backup. So in fact, I share with some of the MNC company for the past few weeks about how to build a multiple income stream. So some of them come to ask me, Yvonne, do you mean by I have to get a multiple job to get multiple income stream? Then I say, no. In fact, you just use whatever your income, extra income that you have from your first job and the only job, use the extra income to build multiple income streams. And in the market currently, you have 6 ways to build multiple income streams. Then on the third question that you can ask is, do you have a financial dependent? So a financial dependent refers to anyone who relies on you financially for things like money, for clothes, for food, and this might include children, relatives, and even spouse. So Dr. Indigo, do you have any financial dependent currently with you?
Yes, I have 2.
Oh, you have 2. Wow, such a blessing.
Because one is in college.
I see. So
Right.
see, When you have a financial dependent, financial planning is no longer about yourself. Instead, it is about who you care about as well. So your financial plans should cater to their needs, and if one day we were about to leave this world, can they be taken care of financially? So you have to include that as well. So the fourth question you may want to ask yourself is, when do you want to retire? Are you prepared for involuntary retirement? So involuntary retirement is something that we can't control. Most of the time, it occurs because of bad illness or accident that you physically can't work and you need income to support you. So Dr. Indigo, did you feel that we are currently somewhat experiencing involuntary retirement?
Very much so.
Yeah,
and that's the way I want to.
Exactly, that in this current situation, it's something that we couldn't control, but yet we are staying at home, can't go anywhere, and we need the income to support our current situation. It's more or less like involuntary retirement, right?
Right.
Yeah, so we have to ask ourselves, let's say after this pandemic is over, ask yourself, if one day you are being forced into an involuntary retirement, can your current financial situation support it? Because retirement is supposed to be a blissful thing. It's supposed to be something happy and cheer about and looking forward. So we don't want to make ourselves into an involuntary retirement. Okay, so the fifth question you want to ask yourself is, do you intend to start a family one day? So Sabrina, do you intend to start a family one day?
Yep.
Yeah, so let's say if you're currently married or soon to be, congratulations. But ask yourself, do you intend to have kids? If the answer is yes, are you financially prepared for it?
Mm-hmm.
So kids are happiness for us, But if we bring them into this world and we cannot afford them, it may be torture for both parties. So if you currently have kids, ask yourself, does your current financial position allow them to start a life with the right foundation and opportunities?
Mm-hmm.
So in fact, I met one of the guy. He's working in a solar energy company. So he told me that, oh, Yvonne, actually, I used to work with the army. So and then I'm just curious. I asked him, hey, I thought if you work in the army and you should have a very good pension and you're supposed to have a retirement life right now.
Mm-hmm.
Then the guy shared with me, yes, in fact, all my kids have grown up except the youngest son. My youngest son is currently in UK studying, so I can't afford to retire. I still need to continue to earn income to support my son who is currently studying in UK. That is why financial planning is very important, because otherwise our financial goal may be disrupted or even delayed due to unforeseen circumstances. Yeah, so these are the 5 questions you may want to ask yourself about your self-awareness, so you know what you really want and what is your current financial situation.
Mm-hmm.
And then, would it be good that now, since you already know what is your financial situation, then move on. The second stage about financial planning is to have a financial goal, which I think every one of us have the happiest moment for planning that. Because financial goal is an objective which is expressed in monetary form. So there are a lot of financial goals in life. So for example, the most specific one can be like, the common one would be having a house, having a car, traveling around the world. Or some of you might have a financial goal of creating legacy for your future generation, or even do charity. No? So now spend some time to list down all your financial goals. Just like what Dr. Indigo has said about journalism. Imagine during this MCO, we said the lockdown, let's say 10 years down the road, when people come and ask, oh, I heard this pandemic affect everyone worldwide. So how is it like? What have you done? So if you ask me, even what I have done last week, I can barely remember, but I only remember I'm just staying at home. Because we didn't journalize it, you see? So same as your financial goal. If we didn't journalize it, we didn't write it down, we will only recall it faintly, but we can't really recall it precisely. So that's why I totally agree with Dr. Indigo about the journalism. I think I need to start that as well. Okay. So now you have clear about your financial goal. Then the next stage is to start exploring your financial strategy in achieving this goal. And always remember, a goal without a plan is just a wish. Agree?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So you want to be getting income every single period of your life rather than having to work on your assets, restoring your assets, or even manage your assets. Because proper financial planning is required to have income every month without have to think about or even worried about what happened to my asset. Yeah, sounds very blissful, right? So I can give an example here. So let's say, okay, this is the root, okay? Then the roots will grow into a tree. So let's say if the tree drop down, being chopped off, as long the root is still there, it still can continue to grow a new tree. So this root is actually our income. As long we have our income there, we can build our assets. And if our assets fallen, not to worry because our root is there, our income still there, we still can build assets. But let's say if I destroy the root, I destroy the income, what happens to our assets? Yeah. So that's why it is very important that your investment strategy must based on income generation and income accumulation because that is the root. That is the root that to build assets. Okay.
Right.
So yeah, can you share the next slide about aggressive, balanced, cautious, and defensive? In fact, I have laid down a few diagrams that you guys can refer, which is the aggressive, balanced, cautious, and defensive. So these are the few things that you can invest as your investment strategy. And I also give you a formula so you can do some calculation here. So you can move on to the next slide for the calculation. So this is the formula. So let me give you an example. Let's say our financial goal here is retirement. Okay, let's assume that. So I have 25 years away to my retirement. So these are the 25 years. You use the number 25 minus of 2, so you get 23. So the word here, 23 years, meaning to say you are very suitable to invest in aggressive, balanced, and cautious because you can see the year there. Aggressive is year 1 to 7 and cautious is 16 to 23. So you know that your strategy will be A, B, C. Then after that, this is 3 of them. So use these 23 years divided by 3 and you will know at each aggressive, balanced, and cautious how many years you need to spend on building all this. So these are the formula. You can do it yourself as well. So the idea here is the more you close to retirement, you will need to transit all your assets from illiquidity to more liquid assets. It's also because our risk appetite tends to fall across age. And this explains why you need to shift your assets to higher risk to lower risk across time. So now, a lot of people might ask me, hey, Yvonne, okay, thanks for sharing ABCD. Now I know what to do, but I don't have the time to monitor it or learn about it. Is there other way? So don't worry. Good news. Yes, there's other way. You can always reach out to your financial advisor for more advice and they will able to guide you from that. And while you're building your financial goal, there are 4 universal financial fears that you need to take note to eliminate so that it won't affect your goal. So can I have the next slide? So there are 4 financial fears. So the number 1 will be, what if I cannot work to age 60? So Dr. Inigo, what happens if you cannot work to age 60? What will cause us unable to work to age 60?
Well, if I'm unable to work to age 60, which that's a couple of years, I would then draw down from my retirement. That's my backup plan.
Yeah, retirement, yes. Then also some bad illness or even accident can stop us to work to age 60. Am I right?
Yep.
Right.
Yeah, exactly. So that is the first fear. And second fear is, what if I don't reach 60? So if I don't reach 60, what happens to my financial goal and those dependent who relies on me financially, like what we mentioned earlier? That's the second fear. And the third fear is, how much is needed to retire? Is it 5 million, 10 million, 20 million? How much is enough? And the fourth fear is, how can I assure my children start a life with the right foundation? So the right foundation here is referring to having the right education. So to eliminate this fourth fear, financial fear from our financial goal, that's where insurance plays a part. Okay, let me ask the public, our viewer here, and also for you some general question here. So how many glasses of water do you think you should drink a day?
8 glasses?
8 glasses, Indigo?
Yeah, 6 to 8.
6, 8. Then what about our friends, our viewer friends here? How many glass of water do you think you should drink a day? I believe everyone always drink water, right?
Yes,
So
definitely.
yeah, okay. 𝐼.𝐬𝐽 say
8.
8. Yes, yes. Just like Sabrina and Indigo 8. Any more other answer beside an 8? I don't want everyone say this is bias or is prefix answer. Okay, I want everyone to participate so we have a general
15.
answer that everyone agree. 15. Wow, Ray say 15. You must be having a very good skin. Okay. 8, 10. Okay, so I can generally say that majority of us, we know we have to drink about 8 to 10 glass of water a day. Yeah. So, but hold on a second here. Why do people know that we have to drink 8 to 10 glass of water a day? How do we know that?
The doctor says so.
The doctor says so. Dr. Indigo.
What Sabrina said.
Yeah. Okay, you see, this is what I call the rule of thumb. And we know that to drink 8 to 10 glasses of water a day, we recognize that drinking more water makes you healthier. Am I right?
Yeah.
I believe Ray
That's
would agree. That's why he drinks 15 glasses a day. So you see, is there a rule of thumb for insurance?
Yes.
Yes. If there is, then what it is? Okay. So I will show you the next slide about the rule of thumb of insurance. So the rule of thumb for insurance is 10 times of your annual income should go towards your life cover. And 5 times of your annual income should go towards your income protection. And 20% of your income should go towards planning for your retirement. And while 5% of your annual income should go towards your kids' education. Okay, so after eliminating these 4 fears from your financial goals, so what is the last step in financial planning? Is to revisit our financial plans. We can have the last slide. So you see, stage 5 of the financial process is to frequently visit your current financial plans and to see your financial goal have changes across time. Because if there have, then your financial strategy and product have to change along with it. So people might be asking, okay, so how often I should revisit my financial plans? Is it 6 months, 1 year, or even 2 years? So from my personal perspective, I feel that if there is a changes in income or in life, then you need to review your financial plans. Because when there's a changes in your income, it will affect the coverage regarding to income protection. Like just now about the rule of thumb, all of those is actually based on your annual income. So if there's an income changes, then you have to revisit your plan. And the second thing is, if your life changes, like for example, marriage, having kids, graduation, retirement, like what Dr. Indigo says, she will be retiring. So now you will have more dependent and more financial liabilities to worry about when there's a life changes occurs. So always remember, if there is no income or no life changes, that means nothing changes in life. Okay. So of course, I would like to wrap all this up by a few words. Unexpected situation can hurt all your plans. Ensure that you are in a position to handle all these risks by doing a regular financial review. And the last thing is health is wealth. So like what Dr. Indigo has said, our mental health and our financial wealth are closely related. So health is wealth. So ensure that you keep a close eye into those words, these 2 words especially, because losing of either one can be very dangerous to ourselves. So do regular checkup on these 2 words, health and wealth. Okay, that's all. So I hope that by all these guidance, you can actually evaluate your financial fitness at what levels it is. Okay.
Yeah. Thank you
Much.
so much. Yes, thank you so much,
Great.
Yvonne.
Thank
That
you,
was really,
Yvonne.
really good. I learned so much from both you and Dr. Indigo. I see the similarity of both of you when you all mentioned about health awareness and mental health awareness and also financial fitness. Number 1 is to be self-aware of your current condition. Same goes on mental and also financial, to know where are you now, and also to also understand what is your financial goals in life, correct? and also to journal what, like for example, you journal what you have now, and also you journal on your diary what's happening now. So I think I can wrap it up in two things. Number one, like it or not, finance is definitely impacting our mental state. Correct or not? Do you agree?
Yes.
Yes. And one of the stress, I wouldn't say I would say one of the things that stresses most in life is actually more towards finance. Correct? Yeah.
Yeah.
So yesterday, so when both mental and also financial wellness is manageable, I think we are able to weather the storm. So when finance is here and when mental is here, that's where you see the difference. Correct?
Right.
Yeah. So
Okay.
of course resilience is something that we also want to learn about. So I believe we have a lot of questions. Can we go to some questions that we are from the floor, from the public? Yeah.
Any questions?
Can hear some.
Anyone? Any questions? Anybody? Oh. I can hear my voice now.
Yeah, I don't know why.
Yeah.
So I guess both this thing, right, is have to be manageable, and we have to seek for help if we really want.
Exactly. Correct. I think both. I think
Can you
both.
hear my echo?
Yes. Journaling tips. I think that this is for Dr. Indigo.
Dr. Indigo?
I don't see it. What do you see?
Sabrina, do you want to put it up?
Sorry, just give me 1 second.
Oh, are there journaling tips?
Okay, that's one question from Harold. Are there any journaling tips from Dr. Indigo?
Yes. Okay, so Harold, when I speak to groups, I say there's two different ways you can journal. That's really interesting. One is you can journal okay. Be very careful of setting up dates and time. Never put that pressure on yourself that every day at 4 o'clock I'm going to journal, or every day by the time I go to bed I will journal. Don't do that. Journal as it comes to you. When something feels relevant that either caused you to think, caused you to feel some type of happiness, sadness, basically emotional fluctuation, then journal. That way you won't feel pressure and you won't start resenting having to journal. I've seen people resent it and they do it for a couple of months, then they don't do it at all because they just can't keep up with it. For me, I journal regularly because I enjoy doing it, but I make it a sacred date with myself, meaning I have my coffee and I bring up my book. And here's a tip that I recommend. When you're journaling, try to think in terms of what do you want to know in the future. I was sharing with the ladies yesterday that if you think back last year this time, you probably can't remember how you felt. You might remember something. So 10 years from now, you will remember Corona. You will remember the lockdown, but you won't remember how you felt. You won't remember who all you were in contact with, what things happened to you. So write as if you are talking to yourself, and what will you want to recall? Secondly, this is my favorite way to journal. Sabrina, you said that you like to be married one day, right? Or have children, because you don't have to be the same anymore these days with the young people. But what about you, Yvonne? Do you want to have children?
Yeah, I like children.
Okay. So this is what I recommend. Harold, if you have children or if you like to have children, write as if you are writing to your great-great-grandchildren.
Wow.
And this is why. Think about it. Do you know your great-grandmother? Either of you? Do you know your great-grandmother?
No, I can't remember I can't remember the name.
And depending on where they came, like my great grandmother came out of slavery. She was not born free. She was a slave. But I know nothing about her life because she never wrote about it. I only know based on what somebody else wrote about my people. So just imagine in 50 years, 100 years, your children, your great-great-grandchildren picks this up, blow off the dust, and say, wow, my great-grandmother did this thing on Facebook. What is a Facebook? Because Facebook made a work then. And then she did it with this woman from America and this woman named Yvonne, and they talked about finance. And it's going to be incredible for you to write as if you're talking to them. When I do this, I have a journal where I just talk to my future, right? And I say things like, today I Googled this guy I met on Tinder. Google is a platform that lets you do research quickly. Tinder is a horrible platform when you can't find a man on your own. Actually, it's not horrible, and I can't find it on my own. But anyway, I'm just saying, Harold, try to write as if you are either talking to yourself and you want to recall things, or have fun with it and talk to your generation, talk to your future.
I think I'll do a drawing in my journal.
Well, that's a very good tips from you, Dr. Indigo. So when my great-grandchildren see my journal, it's not just a journal, it's history already, right?
Yeah. Exactly.
Okay. A lady, she's a banking vice president, and she was saying to me, she meets up with her daughter on Sunday mornings, and they journal together. She bought a copy for her daughter, and they journal together, and they talk about it. That's the only time they talk about what they're writing. And I thought that is a really neat way to have a relationship with your daughter, your son, your mom, you know? So here's a question. I mean, I don't want to, I'll let Yvonne go now. There's another question that I'm going to ask her later.
Okay, let's go to another questions. I saw one from Aaron. I think this is quite good. So how does someone seek mental help if they are not able to open up to others? I think in Malaysia, there's this place called Befriender. I think you can call over the phone, and I will let Dr. Indigo share the rest.
Well, first, I want you to really think about when you're making these calls, the person on the other line, are they equipped to really support you, or are you just talking? If you are somebody who's seeking true help, you really want to seek out professional help, someone who understands different things. Because let me share with you, I was speaking at Sunway University this time last year in May, and I got a letter where a guy said to me that I saved his life. And he went on to talk about that he had been cutting himself and that he was suicidal because he was abused by his father. And he was writing a letter to his mother and his sister to say he was sorry he was going to take his life. And he ran across my card and he remembered what I talked about. So I said all this to say that not everyone can deal with what you may be wanting to say to them. And you may say something that a person that has true mental health experience can say, you know what you're talking about is really this. Like someone said, someone asked a question, what if you're depressed and you do things and they can't control themselves? I guarantee what is going on with that person is not just depression. There's probably some other behaviors or a diagnosis that needs to be done. And see, a lot of people don't get diagnosed. And so a lot of things that you're dealing with, if you don't get the proper help, you can continue. It's almost like having diabetes. If you have diabetes and you call your mom and say, hey, mom, I think I got diabetes. She's going to say, oh, yeah, babe, just make sure you drink 8 glasses of water a day. Well, yeah, you're going to have healthy skin, but you're going to have some other problems going on. So I would say to anyone who wants to seek mental health, find someone who, one, gets you, understands you. I say that in life, there's 3 things we all want: to be valued, respected, and heard. Find someone that's going to value you as a person and what you're experiencing, will respect where you're coming from. Because I have seen people say things like, oh, it's not that bad. Maybe not to you, but to the person who's telling you it's that bad. So I got to respect that you're coming to me with this heaviness. And then I need to be in a position where I can hear you. I need to hear what you're saying, and I need to hear what you're not saying. So with that, that's how I try to get people to, one, find someone. And when you find that person, you will naturally open up. Opening up only means allowing yourself to be vulnerable, having trust, and giving yourself permission to not hide behind yourself. You got to get yourself out of the way. If you are standing there saying, we're okay, Indigo, we don't have to talk about this, you're not going to get the help you need. You got to give yourself permission to say, no, we're not okay. We need to talk to someone like Indigo. I'm calling her now. And then we'll talk.
Oh, that's very good. So basically just to talk out loud, right? And for seek help.
Seek help. Seek help by giving yourself permission.
I have one question for Yvonne. This is from Warren. So what should I do with my savings now during COVID-19? Oh, that's interesting.
All right. So yeah, now everyone are being, I think a lot of them, they are very extreme, either the aggressive mode or the defensive mode. So in fact, I received a lot of call from my clients these few days telling me that, Yvonne, I want to do savings. I want to be defensive because I lose a lot of money in the investment. So now what can we do with this savings? So first of all, you need to identify your basic necessities so you know how much you save and how much you spend, especially during this COVID period, because everyone are feeling uncertain at this moment. So laying down exactly how much, like what Dr. Indigo has said, journalize it. How much you save, how much you spend. That's the first thing. Identify the basic necessity. This is the time that we really stay at home to identify what is want and what is need. Because we are being so busy with our daily life that we jungle out between needs and wants. Our wants have become needs have become needs. So we have no longer able to sit down to identify these two between needs and wants. So I think now is the best time we can really sit down and lay out these two parts. Then after that, the next thing you need to do is automate your savings when you receive your salary. So make sure that there is a system to automate your savings so that by automatically before you spend it, this amount will save first before you spend the amount. Okay. So the next thing you need to do is to monitor your spending habits and to cut down some unnecessary luxuries or some subscription or membership that we sometimes tend to forget that we subscribe some of the membership. So there are so many membership going on now, all yearly, some monthly. I think now is the best time we can really sit down and check back what are the subscription we have subscribed so far, and to see whichever is necessary and whichever is unnecessary. And lastly is start creating your saving goals. Always that if you write down whatever goals you want to achieve, then you will plan towards it. Like just now I say, if a goal without a plan is just a wish. Yeah. So I hope that answer Warren's question here.
I think one thing I can add on is because currently we always we say that there's no money, not enough for expenses, but we didn't realize that the needs and wants, sometimes we overspend on certain things, but we didn't realize that one is actually a want. not a need. So I think what Yvonne mentioned about knowing which one is your want and which one is the need is very important in prioritizing during this season, correct?
Yep.
Yeah. Thank you so much, Yvonne, for answering Warren's question. I think I will take one more question from Milky Banta. Yeah, this is quite interesting. Do rich people need financial planning, or how to position insurance plan? This is the last question, yeah?
Yeah, I think it's for me then. So yeah, hi Milky. Yes, in fact, just now Dr. Indigo had mentioned the rich people are losing millions. In
Mhm.
fact, the rich people also need financial planning. Am I right, Dr. Indigo?
Yes, definitely.
Yeah. In fact, they need even more financial planning because they have bigger risks, they have bigger assets to manage, they have bigger
Right.
risks that they don't want to take it on. So how do you position insurance plan is because insurance plan is to eliminate all the risks that you don't want, all the financial fears that you don't want to appear in your financial goal. Yeah, that's why if you can use the rule of thumb, you can follow the rule of thumb for that. But rich people, they do need financial planning because
Mhm.
a lot of rich people they don't want to hold on to such a huge risk because they have a lot of assets in to accumulate. Okay, so always they transfer this risk to another party, which is the insurance company, to manage the risk that they don't want. Whatever risk they want, like the investment rate and so on, they can take it. But the risk that they don't want and it's too huge for them to take on, so they will actually transfer this risk away by the insurance company. So if you ask me, do rich people need, actually the more they need financial planning. In fact, they will look out for one. So I hope they will look for me. Yeah. So I
Thank
hope
you so much. Yes, I hope it answer your question, Milky Banta. Do we still have time for one more question? I see there's a few more questions. If we do not have time, we will actually, okay, for those who have more questions, I will suggest, because we already have a pin on the Facebook comment, you can actually click on the link to via Facebook Messenger. Yeah, the pin there. So do click on it to ask on further information. I think Dr. Indigo and also Yvonne will be more than happy to help all of you. And in fact, I see a lot of questions on mental health. I think a lot of people wanted to know more about that. So I think Dr. Indigo is able to help assist on that. So with that, I think I will summarize everything, or not summarize, just I will just put it over here. All right. And another thing I want to mention is actually on the next live event, we will be having, not me, Yvonne will be having a nice live event session, which will be on the 21st of April. It's
9 p.m.
It's 9 p.m. Okay, sorry,
Yep.
it's actually 9 p.m. So please do stay tuned. I think she will be having her flyers out soon. Yeah. Anything you want to share about?
I
Okay.
think that's about it. Thank you so much, Sabrina, and for moderating, and also Dr. Indigo. I really learned a lot from Dr. Indigo.
Yes.
Wow, so much I know.
Yeah. So once again, thank you so much, Dr. Indigo. I really love talking to you, listening from you and Yvonne on both your expertise. I hope today not only me benefit, I hope that everyone that watches this live event can actually benefit from whatever that you mentioned. And yeah, do reach out to us. All right. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Thank you.
Thank
Bye.
you. Have a good day. Bye.